that one. Okay, how are we going? It's 8 o'clock, it's Sunday, so I'm setting up again for another live cast of ICT Integration Support. I'm just checking to make sure my computer's working. You may see me looking around again. That's because I have a computer down there. The computer down there is meant to be running my live feed just so I can see what you can see. Also allows me to check that my sound's working for you. And up the top is my second screen way up here, which you won't be able to see. So that way I can actually watch, make sure my streaming is working. And wondering why it's not live. Okay, it says I'm streaming for a minute already. Come on. That's tired, you're now live. And so I can see you. Everything should be working. You're live, elapsed time 50 seconds. There we are. Okay. Because I look one way and it shows me inside my face, so I can't tell if it's right or wrong. I'm just going to turn on my sound on here so I can hear it. Okay, good. Okay, so for those people just tuning in now, everything seems to be working okay. Hope the week's been well. It's been a short week for me, well, probably for everybody because we had the Monday off. And people have been working on LAMs, which has been great. It's not so great for me because it means there's marking for me to do. It's been very busy at school. Normal week of teaching marking, I've had about 8 or 9 different assignments to mark, assignments, tests, pracs and things like that. So for anyone who's out there who has got any experience with marking or any experience at school, I can tell you it's been a long week. Having a 4-week-old doesn't help either, but that's okay. Anyway, let's get into what we want to cover today. Today I want to cover 2 things. The main thing, or the first thing, will be ePortfolio sharing, make sure that's set up, and the second thing will be looking at Google Docs. Very simple. If anybody wants me to make anything else, then feel free to message me, email me, or whatever, and I'll give us some details in a second on how to do that. Email is always fine. I'll just make sure my iPad is set up so I can pick up emails, or we won't worry about Twitter this week. That will be a challenge for a different week once everything's going quite well. So don't do that. Okay. So the issue with doing everything live is I have no ability to edit. So if I make a mistake or a blunder, well, that's me being an idiot and unfortunate. Okay, so I'm just going to switch to my screen and move this off screen up to here. So let's go with our Google Sites first. So if you've set up your ePortfolio, which most of you have done, I'm sure, what you would see is to get back to ePortfolio, you're just going to type sites or sites.google.com, and it'll bring you up with your list of all different profiles. This is people from previous years, my student teachers and so on. I want to go down to this one here. Okay, so this is my ePortfolio. Now, most of you should have started working on this. So if we go to standard 1, you would have started putting in your different things. All right, but for now, I'm just going to stick to the main page. One of the issues that you've got, bear with me, sorry. Just want to change this to make sure that you can see good stuff. Yeah, okay, good. This person has been an issue for some people. I've given a couple of different teachers suggestions on how to fix this, but I'm just going to go through it quickly with you. So at the top we've got our settings, we've got new page, which you probably won't use, and we've got edit page. So we're going to click on this to edit the page first. Okay, so I want to get rid of this man. So if I click on him just once, it comes down here and it says you've got to link to this, change it or remove it. So let's just click change. All right, and I'm just going to delete all this. I don't want that. So, oops, I'm not going to do that at all. Okay, so instead what I've done is I've removed that and I want to insert an image. Okay, now this is my image I could insert. Right, it's already sitting there. I can go OK, and I'll get this. I want to center it, and I want to make it a little bit to medium. I can make it small, medium, large, whatever. So that's what's there. If I click off it, it stays. Now we don't actually want that, so I can either hit delete, have my cursor here and hit delete, or I can click on here and go remove or whatever. And we want to put in a new picture. So if I go insert image, and not this one, I want to upload an image. And this will, when I click upload, it will look into my pictures and stuff. And what I'm going to do, just to give you an idea of how to do this, I'm just going to take a screenshot of, let's say, this picture here. Okay, so there's my screenshot. I'm going to go back in. Okay, and I want to upload an image, so I'm going to upload this screenshot. Now you could use a picture, you could use anything you want. But save it to your computer first. This is now uploading to Google. I'm going to click on this and go OK. Alright, so now I have this picture. So if you want to go to Facebook or something and just take a snapshot of something, okay, you could do that. I'd suggest you upload a picture from teaching. It's good to put a picture in here just to start with, and be nondescript, just so that way you can go, here's a picture. I don't have that little pink man there anymore. When you go out and start teaching, ask them to take a photo of you while you're teaching. Right, so while you're standing at the board, or while you're looking through a microscope, or while you're marking some work, or doing something teachy would be great. But something really captures what you do. If you're a music student, have you playing some kind of music. If you're a scientist, do some kind of, like when you're doing an experiment. One of the students last year looked at hearts and was doing heart dissections, so we snapped off a shot of that, and that's what she used. If you're doing English or something, you might be standing in a library. Who knows? I'm being stereotypical. Alright, once I'm finished with that, I'm just going to click save. Alright, so now that saves my thing. So when I'm in the edit mode, all this is like a Word document. When I hit save, I go back to it being the website page. Now, the other thing while we're here is I want to edit this. I want to edit this to share it. So currently, it's probably public, which we really don't want. So I would suggest you change this. So I click on edit. Now at the moment it's anyone on the internet can find. So we're going to change this. And we're going to go from public. We could go to off, and then only people that you share it with completely. So if you added in, click on here, then no one else will be able to get to it, and only the people that you give complete access to, but via email would be able to get it. Now that's fine if you want to do that. It's very private, very difficult for anyone to pass on. I'd suggest this is the one you want to do. All right, so it doesn't require a sign up, but they need to have a link. So that means that if you want to share it with somebody, all you need to do is send them the link. So if I go save, and they can only view as well, they can't edit. So now it's saving, and now it says anyone who has the link can view. So if I grab this sites.google.com site Jared Johnson 2016.5, if I copy that and paste it, then anyone with that link can view my ePortfolio. Now the good thing about that is that if I want to send my ePortfolio to a principal, because I'm interested in doing some work experience at the school, or doing a prac placement, or if I want to apply for a job, I can send them this link. And it will give them full access to my portfolio to view, but not to edit. Now, that principal might go, oh, well, I don't actually have a job for Jared. However, I know that a different school, they really need someone who's half decent at science and half decent at IT. I reckon Jared would be the perfect person. So they can send my link to anybody else. Now, this is the same thing as if anyone can find your photo, and then you don't know who photocopies it and passes it on. So that can be an issue. This is another way of saying, well, anyone that finds this link can pass it on. So once this link goes out, anyone can get to it. So it's not a student who, if you go to teach at a public school, at any school, then any public person, any student can look you up. So they can type in Jared Johnson and they'll be able to find me on my ePortfolio. They may have to be very specific in looking, but they can find me. And when you go to start doing your teaching, that's the first thing the students will do. They go, ooh, who is this new prac teacher? Let's go look up who they are and find out all the information about them. So you want to make sure that that's changed to be they can't find you very easily. However, you also need to be thinking that as a teacher from 24/7, you're there. If you're at at a football game shouting abuse at the umpires or the players, there may be a parent or a student there or another teacher. If you're walking down the street and you throw litter on the ground, then some student may see you do it. Some parent may see you do it. I've seen teachers sitting in restaurants discussing stuff, not realising that parent in their class is sitting at the next table over, listening in and going, oh, that's very interesting. I'll be contacting the school tomorrow. So you need to be switched on 24/7. It's almost like being the way that football players now have to be really careful with everything they do. So you need to be the same, but realistically in today's modern society, that's kind of the way it should be anyway. We need to be really mindful that we can be videoed or done anything at any time. So I've now changed my picture. I've now adjusted my sharing, so now only anyone with a link can find it. So now everything I do now is in the kind of a lockdown mode. It means that you can make all the changes you want until you're ready to go. Some teachers have told me they're happy to have this public. I couldn't agree more. I think that this is great to have as a public statement about yourself, because then it puts it out there and say, hey, I'm proud of what I do. Okay, so that's your ePortfolio. The other thing I want to go on is Google Docs. So if you've got an ePortfolio with Google Sites, then you will have your Google Drive, right? So if I go to Google, up here you can see where you're logged in. All right, now I'm using my Johnson Labs Gmail account. I have a couple of different accounts which I use. You may have a public account, a private account. Just make sure you know which one's which. If you are logged into Google, so if I'm not logged in, I'm just going to sign out. Okay, if I'm not logged into Google, it doesn't know who I am. Right? It doesn't have any memory of me. It just has memory of this computer. However, if I am logged into Google, right, sign in, then it will track what I'm doing. Right, so it can actually see, what I've been looking at, what I've been researching, and so on. If I go to YouTube, it keeps track of all the videos I've watched. It also means that if you watch lots of music videos, then when you're in class, if you're signed in and put on your YouTube, bring up YouTube, anything that's similar, you have all these recommended things based on the things you've looked at before. So if you watch lots of music videos, you have all these recommended music videos come up. If you watch lots of fail videos where people falling down or something, then those will be the ones that come up. Or if you're a car fanatic, there'll be cars come up. So keep in mind that your internet history is something that can come up quite often in class, and so you need to be really careful about that. Same thing up the top, if you're writing stuff in your internet history, so you're doing a search, it's going to come up with stuff that you've searched before, so be careful. I've seen many a teacher fall down because of their private life. They have been researching stuff that they were interested in personally, and when they go to take their computer in class, their personal life then led over into their public teaching life and meant that the students could see exactly what we're doing. I was at a conference and it happened, and it was very embarrassing for the teacher because of the stuff that we could see he'd been looking at, and it was definitely not teaching type stuff. So keep that in mind. Right, now up here we've got our this little grid thing here. This is the easiest way I find to go into Google Drive. So I go in here and I've got Google Drive. Now Google Drive is where all of your documents, files, Excel, everything is kept. So Google is Office 365 and Word instead. You may use Pages on a Mac instead. All these are different ways of collaborating. This is the one I'm going to talk about tonight. So here, if we go to Google, here's all my different stuff. If I go new, right, I can create a new folder or a new Google Doc. Now I'm just going to create a new Google Doc for now. So this is a kind of cut down version of Word. It doesn't have all the functionalities of Word, but it does have some special features. Right, so first of all, I'm actually going to okay, let's produce a science document. Oops, science prac. Okay. Now I could have just written down here, science practical. And I'm going to share this, right? So at the moment it's shared only with me, but I want to share this with everybody. So if I get a shareable link, and anyone can edit. Now you have to be careful with this. I'll copy this, because if anyone can edit it, it means anyone has the ability to delete or add or adjust or put in ridiculous stuff. Link to edit. And unfortunately, there's not a link to edit and a link to view. It's one link. You either can view, everyone can view, or everyone can edit. However, I can go back and change this. Right? If I change that to edit, from edit to view, or from edit to comment, which is better. Link to comment. Okay, now see how they're the same link, but now I've actually turned this off, so I'll actually delete this. Okay. Now comment means that people can add stuff, they can delete their own stuff, but they can't delete anybody else's. Now that's a lot of writing, so I'm just going to change this. I always use tinyurl. So if I go tinyurl.com, I paste in that really long one, and I change this to ICT 16.1. Right. Tinyurl, and let's see. Now someone else may have taken that. Nope. So we can use the link. So if you want to, you can log on. You can go to that website. You can type that into your website. So if I go up here, and make a new one and get rid of that. So if I type this in, it will bring it up. Okay. Eventually. Right. Now, because I'm logged in, it's still me, right, which is weird. So if I go down to here and highlight, and go back, it's still highlighted. Right, so now there's two Jared Johnsons. Right, so if I click onto here, so there's one of me that's highlighting the science, and one of me that's highlighting the other one. Right, now I'm just going to close that because that's too difficult for one person. Right, so here I've got science practical. Now, you can imagine different things that our science practical may involve, hypothesis, our materials, our method, so on, and our results. Now, say we're doing some form of experiment. All these things we can write in. However, when we get to our results, we actually might want to have, instead of table results. So here I might say this might be our variable. Interesting. Do that. Okay, so here we've got the first thing is the variable we're changing. Okay, and this is trial 1, trial 2, and trial 3. Right, now say we're going to boil 100 mils of water, which is ridiculously simple. Alright, so however, to change it, right, is I'm going to get some students to boil 50 mils, some 60, some 70, some 80, and so on. So if I've got 50 mils, I can change this variable to volume boiling. Right, now I don't want every student to be doing all the different amounts. And this is time. So this is time. This is basically time it takes to get to boiling point. We're going to do. Okay. Alright, time takes to get to boiling point. So I've got one. By the way, if you're ever in a tab, if you're ever in one of these tables, you get to the end. If I just hit tab, it puts in the new line. So 60 mils, 70 mils, 80 mils, 90, 100, 100. Alright, now, it turns out it takes roughly about, let's say, 10 minutes, seconds, 300 seconds, we'll do 5 minutes, 300 seconds for this to boil. 295. Now, meanwhile, one of the other students has done, he's actually logged onto this, okay, and he's put in 60. Right, he's put in all these values for 60. And the values for 60 turned out to be, I don't know, 200. Okay, and 50 was a little bit less than that, and so on. Now, because everybody can edit the same document, we can put all our information in the one document. So it's a really good way of getting all the information very quickly. You don't have to rely on everybody else. Sorry, you don't have to rely on the fact that everyone's writing stuff onto a board and then you have to go and copy down everyone's answers. Everyone's putting the same thing. However, unless you have it set as comments, then as a student, I can go, you know what, I'm going to change this to be just 20. Okay, that's going to be funny. And then over here, I'm going to write loser. You know, because I can, because you can't tell who's done it. All right, now there's nothing stopping a student from doing that. So this is something you need to worry about. However, if you see that somebody's written that, you can actually click on that and then say, I don't agree with that. Or you can switch back and say, turn all the comments off. The good thing about this, I find, is that when students do the wrong thing, you have the opportunity of stopping them and saying, okay, this is incorrect. This is poor behaviour, and this is something which we need to correct now if we're going to proceed in this way. Otherwise, I'm only going to let some people on to do this. Everybody else has to copy it down by hand. All right, so now students generally, students make good choices. It's good when they do make a poor choice. Student punches another student in the yard, then you don't say no student can go into the yard. Instead, you say, all right, well, you've made a poor choice. Now there's going to be consequences to this. So in doing all this, allowing the students to actually make their poor choices, you can actually then make the corrections, right? So rather than just saying only one student's allowed in the yard at a time, you say, you're all going to go out there, I'm going to trust that you're going to make the right choices, and if you make the wrong choices, then we're going to deal with it, right? Another example you could use for this, I'm going to just delete this so I can keep my link at the top. I'll try and delete this so I can keep my link at the top, is imagine writing an essay. Now, this is a live dynamic essay. It's very rare that it's written. There's not many people that do it. So 3 parts of an essay: introduction, basically the middle, and the conclusion. Now, the middle it could be narration or your complication or whatever. Let's say we've got 3 parts. Now, I'm going to have 3 people or 3 groups write this essay, and the essay is going to be about, let's say, Superman versus Batman. So something about Superman versus Batman. Now here in the middle is Superman comes in to throw a car at Batman. Right? Right, and the conclusion is Superman is knocked out. Now hang on a second. How was Superman knocked out? We've got a conclusion that he's knocked out, and Batman won. Batman won. Well, we've got that conclusion, but where did that conclusion come from? All right, and also where did this card come from? Right, and we're setting up the scene here. So now, if this people, so I've got one person who's writing the introduction, one person who's writing the middle, and one person who's writing the conclusion. So the person that can write a conclusion can't really write a conclusion like this unless there's a way of this has been introduced in here. Same as the middle person can't really be talking about this if we haven't introduced the car earlier on. And if we have introduced the car, well, what happened to that car? So that means that the introduction, the middle, and the conclusion need to constantly keep working together. Now these students can look at what's going on as they're writing. Everything's coming up live. So that means that they they're all writing at the same time. Now I'm just going onto my iPad here. Okay, and I'm going onto Safari, in this case from my iPad, and I am typing in tinyurl.com/ what they call ICT 16 doc 1. Go. Okay, so now on my iPad, it's coming up with, assuming you can see this, right, it's coming up with the same stuff. Now, if I go into my iPad and I go right onto here, not edit, no thanks. I do want to edit. Oh, come on. Come on, I want to edit. Oh, we'll do it the other way. So, unfortunately, not easy. So there's that, you can see that there. So if I start writing on here, just in time. Alright, and what you'll see is, as this should be updating, which it's not doing right now, so it's rather embarrassing. So it's I've hit refresh and it says just in time. Now, if we work on this live, so if different people on here from different computers, then as one person's writing on it, it's coming up live. Unfortunately, I can't show you because there's no one else on here at the moment. Okay, so that's kind of a poor example because I don't really have anyone to collaborate with on here. But you can see how you could actually have 3 different people working on 3 different areas. In the same way, you could be looking at history. We could look at timelines, right? So you might put in in here instead. You might put down Australia, and then you might put down 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940, right? And each student is given a decade and have to go in and write down what was happening in Australia at that time, the important news things. You know, so it might be Australia goes to war, going to war sometime, right? And again and again and so on, right? So because you're collaborating in a space that everyone can access, means you can write a lot faster. Another one I've done is ICT, or let's do notes from the book. Right, so old, just copying notes from a book. Now, if I have in here chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, so on. Right, and I give each group a task. So I might say, all right, this group of 3 students, I want you to write down the notes, the important notes from chapter 1. And so we're talking about maths. We might go, oh, well, algebra. And they might then do the different aspects of algebra. We might also do the algebra, and then you might put in all the different things that algebra is worth, right? And here might be all about number, and here might be about shapes. Okay, and so each group will then go on and do that. Now, I've had students doing this in a double lesson. So in a double lesson, which is about 2 hours, I had each group write the notes for the chapter. Now, if each group is, so 3 people are working on one chapter, and because they don't have to wait for everyone else, all 3 of them are writing simultaneously, so they can break the chapter up into different subsections, and each group can then write the different notes. So within one double lesson, we covered 10 chapters of a textbook. Now, that's unheard of. There was 342 pages was condensed down to one Google Doc. So it's a great way of getting a huge amount of information in a very small amount of time and collaborating in a shared space. Okay. Now, one other thing I'm going to show you tonight, just to finish off, is probably should leave it. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to leave it tonight. The next thing I would like to show you is how you can use Google marks and so on. But I will leave that until next week because we're really going for half an hour now. And anyone that has been choosing to listen in or chooses to watch this afterwards, I think we've covered enough. I will see you again if you're interested next Sunday at 8 o'clock. Alright, so thank you very much, and I'll see you later.